Shane got the win at Prospect, only just, but how did you see the game?
It was another gritty sort of performance by us. It was a game which we were never in complete control of. Much like the other games we've played so far this year, it was a tight tussle. Thought our first quarter was as good a footy as we played this year, and we probably didn't put the score on the board at quarter time to reflect that. And then North Adelaide had one of those quarters in the third quarter, and the second and the fourth were arm wrestles. So the way that we finished the game off was impressive, and to bank the points, it's always a nice thing to come away from Prospect Oval with.
Yeah, for sure. 5-0 now. Seems like you've set your season up really nicely and beaten a lot of teams that played you in the top 5 last year. Must be thrilled with how the boys are going.
Yeah, I mean, if you offered that at the start of the year to go 5-0, you'd certainly take it. We've worked our way into the season. It seems like a long time ago now, pre-season, but good starts to seasons are built on the back of strong pre-seasons. And Twig and Scott Bassett have got the boys up and running and ready to attack the season from the opening bounce. We haven't really had a dominant performance yet, but we've had 5 really consistent performances, and I think the evidence would suggest that the way that we're training them to play and the way that they want to play stands up in those clutch moments. And so to get the reward for that it's really satisfying. Yeah.
First quarter was outstanding. Got it to a match high 26-point lead, I think it was. Yeah. From there, was it them tightening things up, or you guys just being a bit looser, or like?
Yeah, they certainly picked things up in the second quarter. We had some lapses in concentration, and probably gave them a couple of looks which we wouldn't have otherwise done in the first quarter. The third quarter was different. It was very much they controlled the game, and we were scrambling a bit, and we were probably lucky they didn't punish us as much as they could have. But then we reset going into the last quarter, and I thought we were really strong.
Yeah, talk us through that last quarter. Yeah. It seemed like you were, from the sidelines, just absolutely clinging onto it. Yeah. But I'm sure you had a bit more of a plan in place than that, and probably executed it.
Yeah, it was tense, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good quarter. So that's the sort of stuff that we train for. So those types of scenarios, we train for them midweek. What to do when we're getting repeat inside 50s, the opposition's having repeat inside 50s, how we handle that. And how we use the footy coming out of that, how we defend. These are things that we're well trained on. And so whilst it certainly was tense and we're under a lot of pressure, we stuck to our system. We did what we've been trained to do, and we're lucky enough to come away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jake Creswell had a great moment at the end. Went back with the flight, took a very strong mark.
Yeah.
Went back and kicked the goal. Must have been thrilled for him. He's had a really great season.
Yeah, Cres has been a great story so far this year. Predominantly playing reserves footy last year, coming into the senior team. His pre-season was excellent, and he's performed every game so far. He's making that wing his own. He helps out the defenders enormously in game, but then also he's able to, as he did at the end of the game on the weekend, influence the scoreboard as well by pushing forward. He's hard running, his overhead marking, his second, third, fourth efforts have been a real feature so far, and he's had a really good start to the season.
Yeah, another 2 or 3 boys came in and played their role. Xavier Transfer was one of them. Yep. Went forward, kicked 3. Yep. Must be happy with that.
Yeah, we've been really happy with the blokes that have come up from the reserves and impacted. If you look at the goal kickers on the weekend, most of them are guys who have come through the reserves so far this season. Transfer, Mitch Carroll, and Colin McLean from previous weeks, and then Ethan Warburton down back. They've all had big impact. And the reserves, they're obviously 5-0 at the moment as well. They're playing good footy, and so you got a lot of guys there banging the door down. So depth at the moment is really good.
Yeah, how important is it that the reserves are also 5-0, strong squad?
Oh, it makes for a good environment come training. Obviously everybody's competitive and they're trying to play league footy at the moment, but when the reserves are going well and they're playing good footy in their own right, it just makes for a happy environment. People are still pushing to be the best they can be, but you're in an environment which allows that, and by winning games of footy, you're getting the reward for it as well.
Yeah, you're in charge of the defenders. You must be absolutely thrilled with how they're going. They're allowing, I think 59 points might have been the largest score you've let through, which is still phenomenal. Averaging about 44 points against per game.
Yeah.
Must be happy with how they're going.
Yeah, we've had a strong start down back. We've built really good unity over the first 5 games. A settled 7 for the first 4 games, and then Matt Ling was a laid out, and Ethan Warburton got his opportunity on the weekend and performed really commendably. But I would say so far, we've been building from defence, and that's been a key feature of our game down back. And the points against, that's not something you necessarily go out and try and achieve. It's more of an outcome of the way that you go about it. But coming into the year, it was a bit of a new group. Lord, Merley, new to the club. Tom Graham hadn't played a lot of league footy at Norwood at that point in time, and so getting them all to gel together has been nice. And individually, there's been a lot of good moments, and collectively, there's been a lot of good moments. But certainly, we know that there's a lot of growth areas as well, and that's exciting. So the game on the weekend, there's a lot of learnings to come from that, from a back 7, and often you only get those learnings in losses. But to bank the win and still get those learnings that's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And starting to get into the season now, dealing with a bit of injury and adversity. Lingy was a laid out. Kelly the week before. Kenley didn't play. Panos out for a little while now. So creates opportunity, but also is sad for those boys that are missing.
Yeah, most clubs would be going through the same thing at this point in time of the season. There's some sore boys. That's going to happen, and that's Twig and Scott Bassett again. They adjust training loads. We do different things to sort of ease that and manage that midweek. 6-day turnaround this week. Friday night game against the Crows, so training will probably look a bit differently again this week to best prepare us for that. But at this stage, our injury list, it's manageable. And the guys coming up and getting the opportunity of taking their chances, so it's a good position to be in.
Yeah, Crows this week. How do you look forward to that?
It's always great when you play the Crows. Friday night, Norwood, hopefully we get a good crowd. They're coming off a really good win Thursday night. They had a really impressive win against Port Adelaide. And we want to play the best. So we always want to play sides at their best, at their strongest. And so, we're looking forward to that. As backline, we've got a lot of good forwards for the Crows that we've got to put some work into this week. And we're looking forward to that opportunity.
Perfect. Thanks, Shane.
Thank you. Thanks, Josh.